Hello. After calculating the electric potential of a discrete distribution of charges, let's calculate the potential of a continuous distribution of charges. Consider a finite line of charge. Consider it with uniform density of charge, lambda. This could be a thin metallic rod that is charged. I want to calculate the electric potential at this point P, which is symmetrically placed at a distance a from the line of charge. As a review, let me first calculate the electric field of this line of charge, and then I will calculate the electric potential due to this line of charge. I will write the electric field created by a differential of line of charge dl. Here I consider the origin of coordinates at the center of the charged rod. The differential of E field created by this differential of rod at this point is this vector here. This differential of E field is at an angle theta, and this angle theta depends on which differential of length I'm considering at each time. Because of the symmetry of this problem, I know that the differential of E field created by this differential of length up here can be combined with the differential of E field created by this other differential of length down here. Then I have that the vertical components of both differentials of E field cancel, while the horizontal components add. So I only need to concentrate on the horizontal component and project the vector field into the horizontal component, which is dE is k dq over r squared multiplied by the cosine of theta, where dq is lambda times dl. Now, lowercase l goes from minus capital L over 2 plus capital L over 2, where capital L is the total length of the rod, and lowercase l stands for the component along which we will integrate. Now I can write the cosine of theta in terms of the geometry. By this I mean in terms of the distance a from the rod to point P, and in terms of the distance from the origin to the differential of charge, using Pythagoras' theorem. I can rewrite this as and substituting r by this, now I have the differential of E field in terms of constants and in terms of dl, which is the differential element along which I am going to integrate. Now, the total E field at this point is the integral of this expression from minus L over 2 to plus L over 2. Let me do the integral now. And voila! This is the field created by a finite rod of charge at a point, a distance a from the rod, along the perpendicular axis. Let me clean the blackboard. Now, if we look at this result, we see that for very large distances, I can approximate this expression as, which is Coulomb's law for a point charge. Well, this makes sense, doesn't it? As far away you do not distinguish if this is a line of charge or just a point charge. In this case, A is much larger than L, and the other limit of very near the rod the result has a dependence on the field with 1 over r instead of 1 over r squared. You can think that the E field of each differential of line is more and more vertical the closer you get to the rod, which then they cancel. Remember that the vertical components cancel, and we are left with a tiny horizontal component. This affects the dependence of the E field with distance. Now let's go to another limit. Assume the line of charge is infinite. This should be equivalent to being very, very near the rod. So the electric field in this case is, which indeed is equivalent to the previous result. And if the line of charge is very, very small, we obtain Coulomb's law again, as we can't tell a very small line of charge from a point charge. Now bear with me, because we now have to calculate the potential, the electric potential, and I will do it two ways. Let me clean the blackboard and put some order here. Now, first, let's calculate the electric potential created by a differential of charge and integrate along the rod that creates this potential. Here, the differential of potential depends only on the distance, but not on the angle. The electric potential is a scalar, whereas the electric field is a vector. The differential potential is written as K dq over r, where r is the distance from the element of line to the point and dq is the differential of charge. That is, I integrate, as before, between negative capital L over 2 to positive capital L over 2. Evaluate it at the boundaries. So we get this as the electric potential at point P, created by this finite line of charge. Let me keep this result down here and clean the blackboard again. Now, I told you that I would solve this problem in two ways. For the second approach, I will use the relationship between the electric field and the electric potential. E is equal to minus the gradient of V. Or put it another way, the potential difference between points A and B is minus the line integral of the E field between points A and B. Because we expect the potential at infinity to be zero, we are so far away that we do not feel the presence of any potential. I am going to integrate between infinity and point P. And physics does its magic, also known as science, and both results are the same. So now you have two methods to find the electric potential and two methods to find the electric field. Make sure you use the easiest one, and may science be with you.